Hello, Westfield Middle School. This is Cooper Tinsley reporting from the Cloverfield News studio. Cloverfield News is a monthly news broadcast of the journalism class at Westfield Middle School.
And I'm Elliot Hodgen. Today we have reports on the 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C.,
the Underground Railroad Run,
an update on the beginning of construction here at WMS,
and another short film produced by WMS students for the Global Student Voice Film Festival.
First up, the Underground Railroad Run. The races are off, running in the 20th anniversary of the Underground Railroad Run. Thanks to the Westfield Education Foundation, who provides scholarships to Westfield seniors and grants to Westfield teachers.
The Underground Railroad Run is the major fundraiser for the Westfield Education Foundation. We're a nonprofit organization that raises money to bring education opportunities to the students at Westfield Washington schools.
Competitors have a choice of doing the 5K run or 3K walk.
I have run a lot of 5Ks, but on track there's not really any 5Ks, so it's longer, which I think is better for me because I'm better at longer distance.
Every year, the school with the greatest participation in the event wins a traveling trophy and $500 towards their school's physical education program. This year, that honor was given to the high school.
And so in 1999 we started. We called it the Shamrock Scholarship Run back then. But in 2003 we changed the name to the Underground Railroad Run. Years ago in the early 1800s, Westfield was a community that was a major stop on the Underground Railroad, which was a secret passageway for slaves escaping, slavery in the South.
At first, the race was scheduled for March 24th, but due to the winter weather, it was postponed to Sunday, April 15th. It was warmer, but it was still wet.
I really didn't mind the rain. I sweat a lot when I run, so it's kind of a good disguise. People think it's just rain, even though it's a big sweaty head. So yeah, it was good. It was a fun race.
Overall, the Underground Railroad was a very exciting event.
I didn't really know that the run was for Westfield Scholarship. That's really cool.
Yes, the Westfield Educational Foundation has given almost $1 million away over the last 20 years in scholarships and teacher grants.
Great, maybe I'll win one.
They will only be available if people participate in the events like the run.
Yeah, I'm not much of a runner.
Excuses.
Did you run?
Next up, we have an update on the construction going here at WMS.
Way to change the subject, Elliot. As most of you know, Westfield Washington schools are going through many huge changes. WMS broke ground last Monday, April 23rd. First off, some special security announcements from Ms. Trambaugh. First, if you see a prop door, unprop it and please report the door number to a teacher. 2, if you see someone trying to get into the building through the glass, please tell them to go to the front office, then go tell a teacher the door number. 3, for fire drills, if you exit from the northwest side of the building, you will have to have a new route to take, so remind your teachers and please pay attention. Finally, if you currently enter through the pool doors, you will need to enter through the front doors or media center doors. We will be losing access to those doors soon. Okay, so last week, we lost access to doors 1 through 8 and the north side of the cafeteria. The pool will be filled in shortly. We should have most of the additions done by the end of 2019. Lastly, Mr. Hoy reminds all students to please stay patient. He is very excited for this project.
So the teachers are going to have to park elsewhere, and students will not be able to use many of the doors for fire drills and such.
Yes, for the next couple of years, there will be consistent changes, and one project finishes and another one starts.
And if thought as 8th graders, we would be avoiding it all. Not so fast.
Yeah, Construction is happening at the high school as well.
Recently, the 8th grade class got a chance to go to Washington, D.C. Julia Lamb reports.
Over 300 Westfield Middle School students took 6 buses across the country to see our nation's capital. While there, they were greeted by a wonderful surprise: cherry blossoms. For the first time, students witnessed these beautiful flowers in full bloom. In 1912, Mayor Yukio Azakai of Tokyo presented cherry blossoms to Washington, D.C. This was to commemorate the friendship between the United States and Japan. Each year, over 3,000 trees go into bloom of white, pink, and every shade in between. The blossoms stay in bloom for only 15 days, so Westfield is very lucky to see them. The trees surround many of the monuments. While on night tours, Westfield got to admire the full beauty of these trees. Students also went to George Washington's Mount Vernon. Among the museum and animal barn, we encountered gorgeous gardens that showed many stunning flowers. Westfield also performed a laying of the wreath ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at Arlington National Cemetery. Will Strom, Delilah Flora, Elizabeth Braham, and Kyle Emmenbrock represented us nicely.
I think the Jefferson Memorial, because it is surrounded by cherry blossoms, but it's also on the river, so you can see across the river to the other part as well.
While not all places had trees, many did have beauties of their own. The World War II Memorial had a beautiful view and a pretty sunset, but it doesn't compare to the Washington Monument at night. The Lincoln Memorial, White House, and Capitol Building were all gorgeous as well, but the best by far were the cherry blossoms.
That looked like a great trip.
It was. My favorite part was Mount Vernon. George Washington's my hero, and it's really nice seeing where he lived.
My favorite part would have to be the Holocaust Museum, though we didn't spend much time there.
I'm sorry I missed it.
Next year, the trip will be over spring break rather than during the regular school week. They are cutting the Gettysburg stop and shortening the overall trip. They will be leaving Friday morning and will be gone Saturday and arrive back Sunday night. So families can still take a trip starting Monday if they want.
Why are they changing the dates?
So 2 reasons. 1, the cost and availability of subs has become a real problem. And 2, the work around the curriculum requirements is hard to make up. And state testing and things like that.
So even with the changes, it's going to be a really great opportunity. This year's 7th graders, you should really plan to go.
Thanks, Julia, for that report. Next up, Kayla has been researching the mental health issues in students.
I don't know a lot about teenagers' mental health, but I know that some teenagers go through stressful situations that affect their mental health and their mental state.
I know that it's important.
Some are mentally unstable.
What I know is some teenagers struggle at this age because of stress in classes and trying to get things done on time.
I know that lots of teenagers go through stress because they have lots of work and other things that they have to do.
There are a lot of teenagers with mental health, and it's not good because the numbers keep increasing.
Certain issues such as depression and anxiety are normal, but due to some circumstances in people's lives, they may get worse, depression or anxiety.
Between the ages of 13 and 18, 20% of teens suffer from mental illness. Suicide is the 3rd leading cause of death in people from ages 10 to 24. According to the National Alliance of Mental Illness, 90% of the people who died by suicide had a mental illness that had not been diagnosed.
My class teaches many different strategies to help with coping with our mental health. But we just mostly focus on coping strategies for average mental health issues like dealing with anger or grief or depression, just kind of our normal average feelings that we would have. And then we do some exploration into different mental health disorders where students can do some research and kind of see what each one would be all about. Yeah, Actually, I've had lots of students try out some of the different coping mechanisms that we do and have told me personally that they found them to be pretty helpful. Had a couple students start journaling on a regular basis, lots of students start doing yoga, and some students even doing some meditation.
If you have been feeling depressed for more than 2 weeks, extremely nervous about something, or have felt weird or different, talk to a parent or other adult that you trust to get some help from a doctor or therapist. If you notice signs of suicide or mental illness in a friend, talk to them or an adult about it to get help for the person showing signs. According to mentalhealthamerica.net, 4 out of 5 teens who attempt suicide show warnings beforehand.
It affects them. Well, I guess some people kind of separate themselves from others, or they usually never like to go into groups.
I have a few friends that went through a depression state, but they're back and they're happy and they're even better now. I haven't really known a lot of people who have been affected by it, but I just know that some teenagers do go through it and it changes their life dramatically.
Well, it depends on the type of mental health, but in a lot of people it like brings down their self-esteem and stuff, and they're a lot less self-confident.
I have several friends that do suffer from depression that's worse than normal, and there will be days where they just don't want to do anything.
I was surprised that our students didn't really know much about mental illness, and they all just seemed to think that it's just being really sad or stressed about something. But mental illness is more of an inability to be able to work through difficult and normal things in your life.
How do you feel mental illness should be addressed in our school?
I think that we should learn that depression and anxiety are normal in teens, and it should be emphasized you should talk to someone about it rather than just keeping it all in and feeling isolated.
So recently, students in fine arts and media classes were given the opportunity to produce a film that followed the theme In Another's Shoes. Our very own Julia decided to give it a go. Let's see what you think.
Stop! Lucy, looks like you forgot something this morning. Did you forget to... Me alone? Your hair looks like a bird's nest. Harper, I said stop.
Ow! That hurt! You pushed me over! No, I didn't!
Your friends made me sit with them at lunch. So much pink.
I know, isn't it great? But we do have a problem. So I'm you and you're me.
Wow, this is so cool.
I have a friend named Eden who's really smart. She could help us.
Oh, I know her. She hates me.
Exactly. You have to talk to her and pretend to be me. She trusts me, so it shouldn't be that hard. I'll pretend to be you for tonight. Anything I should...
Yeah, my parents are going through a divorce, so they're pretty grumpy.
That doesn't work for me. I told you, this isn't my choice, but this is the way it has to be. I am having her here this weekend.
But there's no way you're having Harper that whole time.
I am. I need this holiday that's coming up. This is my holiday. We didn't choose this. You chose this, so we're going to stay here.
I love your life,
and I hate these shoes.
I tried to talk to the nerdy girl, and she said she would come find you. Did she?
Yes, she said it was a chemical reaction in the science lab. It can cause hallucinations and even trick the brain. She gave us this to eat.
What is it?
It will switch us back.
No. I don't want to go back.
I know you don't want to switch back, but we have to.
Okay.
Hey, remember that I'm always here for you. Oh, and I forgot.
Wow. Thanks, Lucy.
That was very heartfelt. Great job, Julia. All of the entries had to be uploaded, including the tag GSVFF. The cool thing about it is that you can look at all the entries by searching GSVFF in YouTube, which stands for Global Student Voice Film Festival. We have seen some great shows, including the 4 from Westfield. What you can't tell is that if they are entering in the high school or middle school category. You can tell, though, if they are elementary.
These individual stories, as well as the full broadcast of Cloverfield News, can also be found on WMS social YouTube channel.
That's all with Cloverfield News. See you in our next broadcast in less than 3 weeks.